Hello, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I just gave a whole introduction and realized that I wasn't live yet. But you know what? That is life, right? Well, I just want to welcome you in. Happy Wellness Wednesday and welcome to Feminine Finance with Mia James. So, if you're new here, I want to welcome you to a safe place for us to discuss all things finances. And if you are returning, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here this evening. So, without further ado, I want to let you all know that we have a special guest this evening, and I'm going to bring him up shortly. So, if you do not know, but I'm sure you do because I know that my listeners are pretty savvy, and I apologize for all this weird background stuff going on. But student loan debt plays a significant role in net worth and wealth building. Okay, so many of us, we come out of school with overwhelming debt and we don't get that quote unquote good paying job that they tell us that we're all going to get. When we are sold the dream of going to college, right? Let's just be real, because I was one of those people that got the student loan debt myself. And the next thing you know, your student loan payments are as much as your car note, if not your mortgage. Okay, because I do have some clients who have had that situation before. And a lot of times, those student loan payments are typically not affordable given your other responsibilities. And so we know that we have a student loan crisis in the United States of America. And I'm really excited to introduce you all to Gianni Ford, who's the co-founder of Reform Alliance, and he helps individuals with all things student loans. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Jen. So, Gianni Ford, let me tell you about the awesome Gianni, and I'm going to bring him up on the stage. He is the founder of Reform Alliance, and he's also a licensed realtor from Los Angeles, California. He was raised by his hardworking mother. Shout out to all the mamas who are raising us and making us great assets to society. And his mom was a realtor and a caterer. And her dedication enabled them to move to the suburbs and provide him with a quality education. So we all here believe in education with whatever form that may be. So his deep connection to both his birthplace and his new home shaped his ability to relate to people from diverse backgrounds. He began his career as a student loan advisor and later worked in the unsecured personal loan industry. After facing financial struggles and job insecurity, he found stability when a private student loan company reached out to him, leading him to build a career in the student loan industry. Determined to make a difference, he founded Reform Alliance to support minority borrowers, shout out B1 family, who often face the greatest financial challenges due to student loan debt. Through Reform Alliance, he has helped clients from all backgrounds save millions of dollars and take meaningful steps toward achieving their dreams. So, without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Gianni to the stage.
Hi,
Hey, how
how
you
are you
doing?
doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. So we got everyone is giving you love in the chat here. If you're joining us, let us know who you are. I have my sister friends, Natasha and Jen. They are always on being big supporters. And so I always like to give them a lot of love. And then we have one more
Absolutely.
person on. So we want to know who you are and welcome you to our space tonight. So we're gonna jump in. Or Gianni, do you want to say anything before we jump in?
Well, I would like to say thank you for having me. And I think we're going to be able to get a lot of things accomplished tonight as far as the no, the what, the why, the how, and moving forward on how to tackle this sort of, I guess you could say, this strenuous process of just even at the bare minimum understanding what's kind of going on right now. I know over the next few months, we'll see a lot of scary headlines and things of that nature that will possibly be used for clickbait or to make people have fear and really genuinely, kind of make them act on instincts that they may possibly not understand what they're doing, and possibly do things that at some point in time could be considered to be irreversible. You know what I mean? So I think having a grave understanding of what to do right now and what not to do is something that we're going to try and tackle here today.
Well, thank you so much, Gianni. I appreciate you for being on. I appreciate you for sharing your expertise because I know this is something that's impacting my clients. But And even if you don't have student loan debt, like I've personally had mine forgiven. I know a lot of people that this is impacting. So this is for them, you know. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about this changes with the new administration. I know
Mhm.
this is a delicate topic. We are not here to influence anyone's political beliefs at all. We just want to educate you so you can make
Yes.
informed choices. So, what potential changes to student loan policies do you foresee with the new administration, and how should borrowers prepare?
Okay. Number one, this is I'll kind of go and answer the second part more than anything because I think it'll play a more pivotal role in understanding, and then I'll kind of answer the first part as the second part. So, rule number one, I tell people stay informed. You always want to make sure to regularly monitor official communications from federal agencies, reputable news sources for updates, policy changes, and different things of that nature, whether it's through studentaid.gov or federal student aid or FAFSA, um, different people who may have insight towards student loans. And
Mhm.
then the second part of that is always review your payment options. Number one is assess. You always want to assess your current repayment plans and determine if adjustments are even needed based on policy modifications or what you're looking to accomplish as an end result. Because sometimes the best end result is just sitting on your hands, knowing when not to do anything, more or less, so to speak. And also, I always tell people consult with your student loan servicer to understand how changes may, in essence, affect your individual loan situation. And finally, more than anything, prepare for disruptions. You know what I mean? I never talk about politics or religion, but I think this kind of ties into specific circumstances that are taking place with the new administration that we have. Number one, expect delays, expect changes due to current administration, policies, modifications, and different things of that nature. So when they happen, you're not just so blown back and then you're kind of running to kind of, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Sort of situation or scenario. Um, and that's the answer to kind of the second part. Now, the first part, as far as what potential changes to student loan policies do I currently foresee with the new administration, just kind of giving a little bit of context. Number one, there's been instances where I'm going to let people know right now, I don't think the Department of Education is going to be dismantled. Um, and just kind of giving a little bit of context and history based into that. Um, it's just a short history of presidents or presidential candidates who have previously tried to abolish the Department of Education. For number one, back in 81, we had President Reagan. He tried 2 years after President Carter established the Department of Education. In 96, we had candidate Bob Dole, who put abolishing the Department of Education on the Republican platform, and he lost against Bill Clinton. Taking it back to 2016, President Trump, he proposed the abolishment of the Department of Education, and it went nowhere without enough support in the actual Senate. And then we're back here at 2024, where President Trump is kind of proposing to abolish the Department of Education again. So I believe the critical functions that the Department of Education does, such as issuing student loans, would simply get modified, maybe to a new agency. As
Mm.
President Trump had said, maybe they were thinking about transferring the responsibilities of that towards the SBA. I don't see that happening because they don't have the functions to kind of really do that in a manner which would not cause like just anarchy, right off the back. So, like I said previously, there will be a lot of scary headlines. Even if it was to be proposed, I don't think people understand certain things about the Department of Education, and certain repayment programs and things are written into law. So, some of those things that the current administration have been able to disrupt, that's because those things aren't written into law. They were just added on by the Department of Education as opposed to law overall. You get what I mean? So they would actually have to go through Senate and the Congress in order to get enough votes, including Democrats, which I don't see that happening ultimately, in
Mm.
order to totally abolish the Department of Education. So that's really as me being foreseeing the future. I don't see that personally happening. Not to say it can't, but they would definitely have to have all Republicans and a nice amount of Democrats on board with that, and I don't see that transpiring, honestly.
Wow. You said a lot.
I know. I didn't want to overwhelm,
Oh
but
no.
you
Oh
know,
no. It was great. It was great. Not overwhelmed at all. I mean, y'all, right there, that we drop mic, boom. So first and foremost, you gotta stay informed, right? So just to kind of recap, make sure that you are checking out, studentaid.gov if this impacts you or someone that you're working with. Or FAFSA.gov, you want to stay informed on any changes because on those sites, they do have like a news area and it'll tell you anything that's upcoming. And then the other thing that was important is that you want to review your payment options with your student loan servicer. So make sure that you know what options you have. But another thing that Gianni said that's important is that because there's a change, right, that's occurring and things are kind of policy is not stable, you may have delays in things that you may have put in motion prior to the election. And even if you try to start something now. So
yeah.
just be mindful of that. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, just most recently, and I'm not sure if people are aware, President Trump did implement a stop work order, which doesn't come to an end until May 27th. And
Mhm.
I actually spoke to Aid Vantage today because I had a young lady who we assisted her, and her payments came back like at 1100 even after we submitted the payments. So we had to place her loans into an actual forbearance so that we can give adequate time for that paperwork to process, and she ends up not being delinquent or having potentially negative impact on her credit report due to them not processing specific paperwork. So you know what I mean. There's different ways around it. I won't go too deep into that. It gets kind of strenuous with the whole details. But
Yep.
when there's a will, there's a way. Um, it's one of those things, honestly, and I hate to say it like that. It's a if you know, you know, and if you don't, you just don't. You get what I
Mhm.
mean? And unfortunately, it's not the Department of Education's job to make people knowledgeable of how to go by certain things. You know what I mean? Or accomplishing, paying them less money in the end, or enrolling into these specific programs that are available to them.
Wow, awesome. This is y'all. If please, please, please hit like, hit share because I guarantee you there's someone that's drowning in student loan debt or they don't know what to do. Especially with all these changes. So please, please, please share this episode to help people. So and if you have a question, please press it in the chat and I will be able to see it. And I'm going to ask Gianni towards the end. So, my next question, I mean, you kind of answered the question about recent policy changes.
Uh-huh.
So let's go into repayment options.
Okay.
So, can you talk to us a little bit about the various student loan repayment options that are currently available and who they're best suited for?
Absolutely. So as of right now, there's really three main repayment options as far as when it comes to income driven, which is really concerned. You have ICR, which is income contingent repayment, and then you have IBR, which is income based repayment, and then you have pay, which is pay as you earn. Now, with some of the things that have been going on with the administration as far as income driven is concerned, the only two programs that they're really giving any real, what is the word that I'm looking for as far as the vernacular? The only real assessment to process and to receive credit, or that would make it even worthy to enroll into, is an IBR program right now. So, as of right now, because IBR is written into policy law, all of the other programs are not written into law. So that's why, with even the stop work order, or all of the changes that the administration has made towards other income driven repayment programs, that's why the SAVE program was able to be scrapped. That's why revised pay as you earn was able to be scrapped, which was the new SAVE, and different things of that nature, because those are not written into law. Number one. And then number two, you want to determine as far as your repayment options would will be best for you. I always tell people, I've never spoken to anyone who has the same exact situation or circumstances. And it also depends on what you're looking to accomplish. You get what I mean? How much you owe, how many different loans you have out, the current statuses of those loans, where are you employed, how much money do you make, and a plethora, et cetera, of other things that can then instantly determine determine, will this be what's best for me as far as, should I pay the loan off in full? Am I considered to be employed as a public servant? Meaning, should I go for the income driven repayment program and not really worry about the actual interest or the payback amount, as opposed to paying attention to the term length and different things of that nature? So, really, it just all, there's never one circumstance which will ever be the same, but just giving more of a generalistic answer. um,
Mhm.
every scenario can be different based on your circumstances and what you're looking to accomplish in the end, which, of course, I always tell people, of course, I know you want to potentially get rid of your federal student loans, but your route to the end result may be significantly different than another person based on your circumstances, the type of loans you have, the amount, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, and you just said something real important. So this
Mhm.
topic we're talking about, y'all, is federal student loans. So this is a completely different conversation than personal loans. So just be aware of that. If you need to have a conversation about personal loans, I do have a resource to help with that. But today we're focused on federal student loans. And if you just joined us, welcome. We have a special guest, Mr. Gianni Ford here. He
Thank you.
is a student loan expert, y'all. Like, this is like gold. Y'all, I mean, I wish I had him when I was trying to get my public student loan forgiveness. Okay, random question. I know I don't think I have this on here. Is student loan forgiveness still an option for public servants?
Absolutely. Now, I know people have probably heard headlines as far as, once again, and I hate to say it's kind of repetitive going back to the current administration. I
Mhm,
know they were trying to scrap some of those benefits for public servants in specific sectors, like dealing with healthcare and hospitals and different things of that nature. But for
mhm,
the most part, public service loan forgiveness is absolutely still going. I'm helping a young lady right now who had 8 payments left, and then they paused everything. So she was like, I have 8 payments left before my loans are discharged. Now, what does this mean? You get what I'm saying? So,
mhm,
right now, we've seen loans still being discharged through IBR directly. We have not seen it through any other repayment programs that are considered to be income driven. And that's because of the IBR being written into law. So, that's definitely one of them, to where we're still seeing end results to where people can either still actively make payments, whether it's a stop work order, and you just mainly, you want to get that credit. So whether they're doing it now or not, you want to make sure you hit that mark as far as meeting the qualifications of the terms that are set forth. So when they do take care of business, or this stop work order stops on the 27th of May, you can basically pick up where you left off. But I would say regular scheduled programming, as if things will go back to normal um, until otherwise. You get what I mean? And
mhm.
that's pretty much it. And please be aware, something, I may tell you something today, and literally a week later or 2 weeks later, that may change. So it's always navigating, it's always currently changing. So 2 weeks from now may be some new, to where something I said today may not apply from 2 weeks from now. So I just want people to know that it's never set in stone as far as certain things, as far as especially as right now is concerned.
So, where can people stay up to date? Do you post this on your social media, like any like new updates?
Yes, absolutely. So we send out a weekly newsletter. We also, on our Instagram page, Reform Alliance, and we have Reform Alliance LLC. We do updates. We post different, like, videos, to where I'll kind of have it in the background, kind of the new updates, and then I'll kind of go over that in more detail. You can also reach out to us directly. And then on top of that, we do offer free discovery calls, meaning you don't have to pay for those. They're considered to be discovery calls, where we just pull your loans up to see how much you owe, how many different loans you have out, as well as the current statuses of those loans. And then you can at least be up to date or knowledgeable of your current situation or circumstances. And if you decide to move forward and do business with us, if you like what you hear, you can. And if not, if you want to ponder, if you want to think, you absolutely have the option to do so as well. But at least speak to someone who's knowledgeable. You know what I mean? So you can know where you at least stand, and you can then at that point in time decide if you're ready to pull the trigger to do something moving forward, whether it's with us or not.
I love that. How can people find you to set up that consultation? I just want to do that before I forget.
Absolutely. If they go on our IG, the at Reform Alliance, and you hit the hyperlink, which is in our link tree,
Mhm,
there's a get started button where they can submit an actual consultation form. We have two separate consultation forms, and I'll also let me see here if I can put it in the actual chat where they can book an appointment. These are more scheduled appointments for people that are really ready to kind of take action more than anything, as
mhm.
opposed to just maybe people who have questions or concerns. So let me put this in here real quick here for you. Bear with me.
Yeah,
And
no problem. Because
thank
we
you for
want
your patience, guys.
no problem, no problem. And we do have a question in the chat before I get back to
Absolutely.
our questions. So Jen asked, "What are your thoughts on FAFSA? She worries about students taking on debt for opportunities to participate in higher education. What do you think?"
Said that one more time. My apologies. You were going a little bit in and out.
Oh, my bad.
It's
Okay.
okay.
She said, "What are your thoughts on FAFSA?" She says she worries about students taking on debt for opportunities to participate in higher education.
Um, I'll say this, to each his own. You know what I mean? And I mean this in the most respectful way. As minorities and our counterparts, we don't have the silver spoon to where oftentimes we're not set up to have our credit score really high. We're not set up in order to have money put away for us to attend school in order to receive higher education. So we're much more likely to take out loans at much higher interest rates, which we're much more likely to take out loans at larger amounts for higher education. And also, I'm not sure that people understand, African American women, you guys are the most educated in the world. And you also hold two-thirds of all of the federal student loan debt in the United States. You get what I mean? So
Mhm.
and I hate to say it, me and my mom kind of, and I'm going off a little bit of topic, but we have to make sure that we're choosing, when you decide to kind of follow that higher education, that you're choosing a field of study that pays well. You know what I mean? I understand doing what you love. I understand the passion and all of that. And, this is what I want to do. I may want to go to school for dance. I may want to go to school to be an artiste, or things of that nature. But when taking out debt at such a large amount, when it could potentially stop you from starting a family, buying a home, and a plethora of other different things, you want to make sure when you decide to go to school and you're going to take out loans, take it out for a subject or a major that can, in essence, provide a return on your investment. That's really the genuinely best advice that I can give. You work your full time, or you do what your that is, and then you do your passion on the side. If that passion begins to pick up, then you let that take control. But you still have to take care of everyday living expenses and circumstances, and also bills, because bills don't that you can't pay bills with passion, as far as if they accept it, you know what I mean, unless you're being compensated for that. And I mean that in the most respectful way, as possible. And I've learned from mistakes as well. Me myself, when I first went to school before I graduated from USC, I went to community college, and I didn't know they gave me 5 grand. And girl, I'm like, this is funny. Do you know what I did with the money?
What you did with the money?
I went to the Beverly Center and brought a Gucci belt. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, five. So you know what I mean? And then but it's one of those things, like I said, when you know. And then I couldn't when I went to go back to school for the second semester, I didn't complete the classes because they gave me the money. So then I had to go pay out of pocket, finish the undergrad classes, and then they funded me the rest of the money to go to school. And I was like, okay, now I know. You get what
Yeah.
I mean? So I just say that to say it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to get off the path. But more or less, just make sure you're majoring in something that gives you a skill to pay the bills. And also, you don't have to necessarily go through higher education. Trades are more than okay to make a living. They say the top 3 trades, with the as far as millionaires are concerned, is HVAC, plumbing, and
Mhm.
AI right now. You know what I mean? So yeah. So oh, look at Jen. She like, no, you did.
Listen, Gianni, I didn't know this about you before you came on, but Jen and I are Bruins, and so, but I love you anyway. I love you anyway.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. SC all the way.
Well,
See,
anyway, I have a similar story. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let it go.
my
But
two nieces, they graduated from UCLA though. My two nieces did. They went to UCLA.
very good, very good. As so did Jen and I. And so it's funny, I have a very similar story because I always tell people when I was in undergrad, I was richer then than I am now.
Uh huh.
And I used to go to Santa Monica all the time and shop in Santa Monica or on the Century Center
Hmm.
and all the time because I always had extra money from financial aid. So I
Yes.
totally cannot judge you. I used to be at the guest store all the time.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So I totally get you on that. And so just to wrap up here with our last couple of questions, how do you think borrowers can manage their student loans during these rough economic times and downturns and uncertainty?
As far as management is concerned, just more or less, and I hate to sound repetitive, it's stay up to date. There's forever changes with policies and implementations. Like just most recently, I believe it was March 26th, they just re-uploaded the applications to where you can submit consolidations, income-driven repayment programs, and different things of that nature online again. Now, just because they're available, you can submit it, but remember, they will not be processed until after the May 27th stop work order ends. You get what I mean? So, that's pretty much it. Is stay informed, stay up to date, make sure you're doing the reading. But that's what I get paid the dollars to do, because I promise you, it's like I start working after I'm done working, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm done working today. Now let's get down to the work that needs to be taken care of.
Yep.
When people reach out to me, they have genuine questions and concerns that they are just not knowledgeable about. They don't know the sources to go and find it, or they're just looking for what can be done to help and assist me. More than anything, it's just keeping your ear to the street, keeping your ear towards the different administration and policy changes, knowing what can be done and what cannot be done. And I'm very fortunate enough to have Dave is in here today, but you have spoken with Dave, but
Mhm.
he does my back end, man, and he provides me a lot of relief in areas to where sometimes when I can feel overwhelmed, or if I don't know something, I can always go to him for guidance.
That's awesome. And that is so great to have somebody where you can tag team. And just so you all know, for everyone listening, Dave and Gianni are like they are fire, like they know their stuff. And I was so happy to meet Gianni. We actually met in a coaching program because my clients are really, this is holding people's net worth back, right? This is holding,
Mhm.
people are not able to save like they need to. And is really a burden. And especially so one thing that Gianni said that really touched my heart personally, because this is all about feminine finance. African American women are the most educated in the world, and we have the most student loan debt. So what does that mean for our wealth creation? And so again, I don't have any student loan debt, but I know plenty of people who do. So again, if you know people with student loan debt, please share this episode. Follow Reform Alliance on Instagram. And if you know you want some support, get support. When we're very good at asking, well, some of us should be good at asking for help, right? And
Yes.
so get that help, get that support to alleviate some of this burden. So my last question for you is, are there any other resources or support systems you recommend to anybody struggling with repayment?
Um, Reaching out to us directly and not being funny, but reaching out to us. You can also reach out to your student loan servicer. Um, it's always, when dealing with your student loan servicer, it's always, I feel, it's considered to be a double-edged sword, because you're also reaching out to the people who have a special interest in your student loan, meaning they make money off of it. So you're also depending on someone to tell you what to do that is best for your circumstances, while they're still trying to make money out of the deal. So it always becomes, kind of, so to speak, complicit into, as opposed to with us, it's our fiduciary duty to do what's in your best interest, as opposed to, they did a survey, 3 out of 4 people who don't necessarily trust the things that their student loan servicers tell them. And that's not to down anybody's organization or anything of that nature, but it's like sitting in your taxes and telling the IRS, hey, do this for me and give me back as much money as you can. It's probably not going to happen that way. You get what I mean? So I just say, just just be knowledgeable and take it with a grain of salt. Always strive for a second opinion, but reach out to us, give us a call, and you don't have to spend money to do that right away. It's a free discovery call, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns. We'll be more than happy to go over your federal student loans with you. And then at that point, you can make a knowledgeable decision if this is something you would like to do moving forward. And you'll feel very relieved to know that, hey, it's not all about the money. You get what I mean? So sometimes people just need a little push in the right direction, and I feel that that can be done.
Awesome. Well, Gianni, thank you so much for just dropping all of these gems and knowledge in 30 minutes.
Thank
Like
you, thank you.
amazing.
It went by like lightning.
It was quick, right? It was
Yes,
like boom,
yes,
boom, boom. But y'all make sure, please follow them on Instagram, Reform Alliance. They are amazing at what you do. Everyone is saying thank you to you, Gianni, in the
thank
chat. I
you.
don't know if you can see it
I
properly.
see, I see, I see it. Thank you.
Okay, good, good. And so y'all make sure you get in touch with them if you're ready to take action, because we want to be action takers. We don't want to just gather information. Make sure you're an action taker. And I am a product of student loan forgiveness, so I know it works. So
Yes.
definitely get that support. If you need that hand holding, no shame in that. Get the support from Reform Alliance. They will take great, great care of you. All right. Well, thank you, Gianni, for coming on. And
Uh-huh.
we will see y'all next week. Wednesday, we'll be talking about credit next week.
Nice.
So come back and join us same time, same place. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you.